Hello everyone, I'm Rebecca Palmer, buyer at Corney and Barrow, and I'm here to tell you a little about Chablis and the 2020 vintage. Now Chablis is the most northerly slice of the Burgundy region, and it lies about an hour and a half's drive northwest of the main area of Burgundy, the so-called Côte d'Or. It's a relatively cool area for ripening grapes, which is one of the reasons that Chardonnay is the dominant grape here rather than red varieties. But this has also to do with the area's famous soils, a chalky clay named after the Dorset village called Kimmeridge. Now, Kimmeridgian soils are primarily marl with seams of limestone. This is the same soil that we find in Champagne, in the famous appellations of the Loire Valley, like Sancerre and Puy-Fumé, but also in the south of England, where fine sparkling wines are also made these days. Chardonnay is in its absolute elements on soils like this, where it can yield wines of extraordinary finesse, wines with a characteristic perfume, sometimes of white flowers or crushed stones, also subtle orchard fruit and a firm, almost tangy acidity. Now it's this acidity that makes Chablis wines so incredibly refreshing when they're young, but it also allows the wines to evolve beautifully over several years in the bottle. So, the 2020 vintage, how did it pan out? Well, 2020 will be a memorable vintage in so many ways, not least as it's the year when the word COVID first entered our consciousness, bringing its own inexorable challenges. But for Chablis wine growers, it will also be remembered as a vintage with warm, dry conditions and a surprisingly early harvest. Harvesting early was vital this year to preserve typicity of style, which in Chablis is all about achieving that compelling sense of purity and minerally freshness that makes Chablis, well, Chablis. This is no mean feat. Actually, it's something of a tightrope act. To achieve their perfect Chablis, a grower must coax the grapes to perfect ripeness with all important acidities in balance. Now this is all about focus, and the harvest date is critical. A couple of days too early or too late and it's game over. At Corney and Barrow, we love the wines of Vincent Dante, a grower based in Milly, a village in the heart of the Chablis region. Vincent Dante's wines achieve that beautiful balance of gently ripe fruit, a light creamy texture, and this thrillingly taut, tangy acidity. So for me, if there were a man on wire trophy for Chablis growers, Vincent wins it hands down every time, particularly for his Primeur Cru wines, which I absolutely adore. To find out more, please visit our Burgundy hub at corneyandbarrow.com/Burgundy or contact the sales team, who will be delighted to help.